Welcome to the reTIRED podcast. I'm Riley.
And I'm Noah.
We're former professional athletes turned parents and business owners.
We created this podcast to talk about sports, life, and everything in between.
Thanks for joining us. Let's get to it.
All right, ladies and gentle folks. Welcome back to what?
Gentle folk.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before.
There's a first time for everything, which ties us in to our episode today. Welcome back to the reTIRED podcast. I'm your host, Riley.
There's no way that was not on purpose.
I promise that
was an accident?
No, I was looking at you.
Oh my god. You're never allowed to intro us ever again.
I was rolling. I felt good.
Gentle folk.
Okay, here we go. Welcome back to that podcast. Dang it, dude. My heart hurts. I think I'm having a heart attack.
Every time.
No, I got this one.
I'm crying. Oh.
Today we're going to talk about the giggles. All right, here we go.
Okay.
Welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Noah.
We're introing like that now. We've never
know.
introed like that.
I guess we
What
haven't.
are you doing?
Welcome back to the podcast. Today we are talking about the start of a new season. As you all know, all of you who listen,
Hopefully.
this week is
Hopefully,
opening
yeah.
week for NCAA baseball.
Softball already started.
Last week was opening week for softball, so we figured it'd be a good time to discuss the start of a new season, what kind of positivity, excitement comes along with it, nerves, what are your, I don't know, superstitions as a new season rolls on. Like, are you going into the new season with new vibes?
Depends on how the last season was.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, hey, I sucked last season.
With new vibes.
So I need to freshen up the vibes, maybe go for new hair this season, wear the pants a different way, fresh pair of batting gloves.
I think no matter what the previous season was like, I'm always nervous my first at bat.
Oh, for sure.
Like you get in the box and you're shaking a little bit in your boots. Please do not tell me.
We're going to take a quick moment to shout out our sponsor, V8, for funding this podcast. Just kidding. They do not, but we would love for them to because we love V8 and we drink 1,000 of these a day.
We do. Anyways.
Sorry for the interruption.
Yeah, every first at bat is nerve-wracking and scary. Like even from like middle school softball and private school to my last year professional.
Yeah.
Same feeling. Never goes away.
Like being on deck before your first at bat of the new season.
Yeah.
Oh man, the butterflies. But it's good. If you don't have that, it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Do you even like playing?
But I always remember for me, like, so you know how energy can be nervous energy or positive energy or whatever. Mine always felt nervous because, especially at the beginning of a season, because I was like determined I have to get off to a good start. Like this first at bat is going to dictate how my season's going to go, which is psychotic behavior.
That is psycho.
Yeah, it's not a healthy place to be. But that's how I felt.
What was the worst start to a season you've ever had?
I'm pretty sure my first professional season, it took me like 17 at-bats to get my first hit.
What was that one? Was it Chris Davis in the MLB with the Orioles? He was like 0 for 55.
Yeah, that was a tough streak.
That's brutal.
Yeah. But I think my longest over streak, which was in pro ball, was probably 0 for 21 or something like that. I think
That's an average killer.
But that was the start of my season. Like I think I went 0 for like, maybe it wasn't 17, but it took me like 4 hits to get my, or
was
4
this
games.
in Arizona or in Vermont?
No. Vermont, when I got a short season, because that was where I was sent straight to as soon as I got drafted. So
I thought you played in Arizona for a little bit.
no, we we went there, got physicals, didn't do any baseball things, and I got shipped off quickly.
Shipped
off
I was like you got deployed, like you're in the military.
That probably would have been better for me. Yeah, so I mean that felt good. I was like, let's go. I'm getting out of here immediately. I don't even have to hang around here and play rookie ball games.
Immediately 0 for 17.
And 0 for 17 to start. And
that's tough.
Something like that. It took me like 4 games to get my first hit. First hit was like a chopper that just snuck through the middle.
Was I there?
No, this was in like Hudson Valley, New York. But gosh, that monkey, getting that off the back was great. And then I proceeded to go for my next like 3 games. But anyways, the start of a new season, the excitement, I don't know, like what did you look forward to the most at the beginning of a new season? Just like a fresh start, or like having a new team? Maybe you were playing a new position that year. Not you. You were a third baseman forever.
I played short my senior year.
That's right. Yeah. And I feel like it does change, like the things you look forward to at the start of a new season, depending on whether it's high school, college, or pro.
Yeah.
Our dog Yogi is crying in the background because she feels neglected.
Where even is she?
We have 2 kids and she never gets attention anymore.
Literally, where is she?
She's on the carpet down there.
Oh, okay. I don't know, I guess just depending. I obviously always want to have a good season.
Yeah.
And the first game is good for that. But I'll tell you this, listen to this story, is my senior year at A&M. Opening weekend, we always had a tournament at home. And usually for softball, tournament schedules go like 2 games Friday, 2 games Saturday, 1 game Sunday. And it was Friday night, and I went like something ridiculous, like 5 for 6 that day. You were there.
I was there.
It was the first tournament in Davis time in the new softball stadium. I went 5 for 6 with 3 home runs.
I think it might have been 4
home runs and 2 doubles, and then like a walk and then like a ground out or something.
It was insane.
And then went on to tear my meniscus and hit like 260 that year.
Yeah, I remember distinctly talking to your parents like while we were just watching it. I was like, oh my god, she's gonna hit 700 home runs this year and be the greatest softball player ever. Like she's gonna break Lauren Chamberlain's home run record.
I hit 6 home runs.
You did
that whole year. So half of the home runs I hit that entire season, I hit in the first day of the season.
Yeah, that was a fun day.
What a time that was.
It was a fun opening day. Yeah. When it comes to like, back to my point about like opening day being different for high school, college, and pro, I feel like high school opening day, same thing. It's a tournament, just like it usually is in college for a lot of teams. But I don't know. I feel like for me, at least, high school opening day, I was like, state, let's go. Like that was the mentality. Yeah.
Did y'all ever go to state?
No, we got to like the 4th round of playoffs my senior year. Yeah. But I went to a 6A high school, not a 4A1 like you. So
I went to a 5A, so
whatever. Anyways.
I'm just a hater.
And then college is like, it depends, because like for you, y'all's mentality is probably like World Series is the goal.
Not on the first game.
I just feel like that's how a lot of people think about
it.
But like for me, being in a mid-major UT Arlington, it was like
World Series or bust.
No.
First game was your mentality.
No, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't that. I'm just saying it's like, let's just win this game. Like, let's just start off good.
No, we were game to game. Like, of course, in the end.
Well, yeah, you have to be.
Like,
but
I feel like we had a pretty good idea of how we needed to prepare. But I feel like in softball, our preseason matchups were very strategic. Like the first weekend, we definitely had some difficult teams to play against. It was usually all the teams from the north, though, because they were just trying to get out of the cold.
That's what I was going to ask, was your opening day against cupcake teams, or like, was it?
I mean, there was a few in there. I mean,
was it against UT Arlington?
Every game was winnable or losable.
Yeah.
So yes, there's easier teams to beat, like stat-wise, but, and I'll say this till the cows come home, anybody can beat anybody. You've never heard that phrase?
I just wasn't ready for it.
Till the cows come home?
I've heard it.
Okay. Anybody can be anybody, and there's easier teams to beat on paper than others, but it doesn't matter because the game doesn't care about the paper. It doesn't care about the stats. So
yeah.
we almost got run ruled in one tournament. My sophomore year, it was the Sunday game.
What was like your biggest opening weekend like upset? Like y'all lost, and you shouldn't have.
Well, we didn't actually end up losing the game because we were playing Butler, and Butler.
Dude.
They had a flight to catch, and so College Station is like an hour to 2 hours away from Houston Airport.
Yeah.
Either of them, and so they had to literally leave because they were going to miss their flight, and so they didn't have to forfeit the game. I think something happened where it was just like a no contest.
But they were beating y'all.
Well, we were coming back. They put up 10 runs on us in the first inning. We made like 6 errors in one inning, myself included. So, yeah, we were coming back, and I think we probably would have won that game.
Yeah.
Because we were, like, determined to hit as many home runs as possible. But, that was the biggest, like, whoa moment. And I think it was my sophomore year.
Yeah.
And this was where we were, like, supposed to be really good. We went to the World Series that year. So this is supposed to be kind of like our year. We weren't. My freshman year, we started, I think, all 4 freshmen started. And then we had 6 sophomores starting. So 10 because 9 in the DH.
Yeah.
And so my freshman year, there was like no expectations because we were all pretty much babies out there.
Yeah.
Sophomore year, it's like, okay, you're your sophomores and juniors now. You should kind of know a little bit.
Yeah, y'all were nasty
about
that year
what
too.
You're doing. And then we give a 10 spot up to Butler.
Yeah. Shout out to that flight,
Seriously.
Thanks to
lucky.
Thanks to the team's ops person for scheduling
the
early flight. Yeah, we had. I'm trying to think of just like opening day big games for us because like I am the cupcake team. Like we were the cupcake team for a lot of schools.
Y'all are a cupcake.
I mean, when
It
you look
depends
at,
on who's pitching
I'm talking
for
like,
baseball.
hey, it's Power 5 versus we're going to play UT Arlington today. Like that Power 5 team.
Hey, Coastal Carolina won the College World Series.
I know, and then they joined our conference. Like our conference was no slouch, but you know what I'm talking about. It's not hey, we're going to play LSU today. It's like we're playing UTA. This is an opener. Get your feet wet, Yogi. I can't with you. Like, dude, we're trying to film a podcast.
If you can hear our dog in this, please leave a comment, chat.
She's so dramatic. Anyways,
she wants.
Attention. She wants love and affection. Anyways, my freshman year, our opening day game was Oklahoma State, and so I was like, sick. Let's go. Like I'm big boy now playing college baseball, opening with Oklahoma State. And it was a close game. I think it was actually tied until the 9th, and we gave up like 2 runs in the 9th. They beat us like 3-1. But that for me as a freshman was exciting because like obviously your first opening day as a freshman in college is something you'll never forget. No, I rode pine hard. What's hilarious is I was like, I thought late in the game I might get a pinch hit or something. I was so dumb. I started the next game though, but it was against SFA. So
I feel like that's kind of an equivalent to
it was
UTA.
It was, but it was just like
mid-major ones.
But it was cool. Like I learned there. I was like, okay, I'm not ready for Oklahoma State yet in my coach's eyes. But they put me in against SFA. Cool. As a freshman, I'm getting playing time on opening weekend. Mm-hmm. Sweet. Like, let's go do something. And I struck out my first at bat. But after that, it was uphill. Anyways, I think that's kind of leads me to what I wanted to say next. Like, what advice do you have for the freshman who's going into opening day right now? And it's hard because every freshman knows their situation a little bit and like what to expect. But without them knowing whether they're going to be a starter, whether they're not, if they're fighting for a spot, whatever, like what advice do you have for freshmen on opening day or opening weekend?
Well, something specific that I have that I feel like, it's not like the most sage, wise advice ever. It's mostly for hitters. I think if you're going up there and you feel jittery at all, the first pitch that is anywhere close to the strike zone, swing. Yeah. Even if your eyes are closed, just swing as hard as you possibly can. Just like get out of the way.
The nerves
out of the way.
So hard after you take
it's
like
so
a
worth
daddy
one
hack.
strike.
Yeah.
Because then it's just going to calm you for the rest of the day. So that's like my really specific literal advice. But beyond that, I feel like, hopefully your coach is giving you good communication about what their expectations are from you. Like I think most coaches should say, hey, especially if you're a freshman, they should be communicating, hey, we don't really think you're ready for a starting role right now. We'll see how the rest of the season goes.
Yeah.
But this is gonna be your role this season. And so hopefully you have that clarity going into the first game. If you don't, maybe go ask for it, I guess, would be my best advice. But
that's great advice.
I think that you have some people have 5 or 6 years.
Or 3. If you get that dog in you.
Just enjoy it. It's the same game you've played your whole life. For softball, it's run 60 feet and turn left. So it doesn't change, hasn't changed. It's just your game. Go have fun. Whatever your role is, fulfill it to the best of your abilities.
Yeah, I think on that note, because my advice is kind of the same, is like just not having too much of an expectation. And that sounds bad to say it, but like you said, you should somewhat already know your role by this point. But it's if you're somebody listening to this and you're about to start your season, or you just started and you felt like you didn't know what your role was supposed to be for opening weekend, or you're unsure of what your role is supposed to be this coming weekend, go ask your coach. Yeah.
It's really important for you to be able to fulfill your responsibilities in whatever position they put you in.
Yeah. And what I was going to say is, like, no matter your role or whether you know it or not, it's hard not to get so excited because all the work is put in and it's time to go.
Mm-hmm.
And so you get really amped up and hyped up and you're excited, and you may think, hey, I might play this game. I might start. I might get a pinch hit this game. Like me in that first game against Oklahoma State, like I legit thought like, hey, they're bringing me in to be a starter. Like I've had a pretty good fall. I worked hard. And I felt like I was on a good page with my coaches. Like I knew where their heads were at.
Mm-hmm.
But I allowed the emotion of opening day to get me like so hyped up in my mind. I was like, I'm going to get in this game.
Yeah.
And then when I didn't, I quickly like kind of, I don't know, I didn't like lose confidence, but I was like, oh shoot, like that, dang, like what's my role? Like I seriously started questioning. Like I started questioning things so quickly. I was like, dude, it's the first game of your college career. Like even then I could have been plenty good enough to have been in that game. My coaches are probably more so trying to protect me than anything. Like, hey, this is a big game. Oklahoma State was ranked like top 3 that year. They're probably just like trying to protect the freshmen. So that's another thing too, is just don't allow your excitement or emotion to cloud your judgment, I guess. But like you said, you should know where you're at and you should feel good about it, and don't let the first game or the first weekend dictate how the rest of your season can go, because it's very easy to get, I don't know, in a different mode that first weekend due to just nervous energy, excitement. And so kind of to my next point is like, what if you start off bad? What is
I've got a story.
What if you start
It's a horrible
with your first game or first weekend? It's like, how does that affect you mentally moving forward?
Okay, so my bad start was on defense. It was not on offense. My sophomore year.
Boo.
I actually I feel like my offensive starts usually have not been very bad ever.
Yeah.
Any of the years, which is surprising because I'm usually more shaky on offense than I ever was.
Your
on
offense
defense.
starts in pro ball were sick.
Right?
Nuts.
I know, just insane. But on defense, my sophomore year, I had really, so my freshman year, the girl that was starting third base before me moved to first base. And so she was at first, and then it was me and another girl who was a junior when I was a freshman. And so going into, and she was hurt, so she wasn't really getting to get to play at all because she had a hurt back. And so going into my sophomore year, she was now a senior and she was healthy and she could rake. And then the other girl was still at first. And so I really was not sure if I was going to start my sophomore year. Like I hoped I would. I started every single game my freshman year, but I really was not sure about sophomore year.
That's wild to start the entire freshman season and be unsure about starting sophomore year.
Well, you just don't know. Like I didn't have a great fall. I was okay. But again, like defense is always where I shined. And I always thought I was really good at defense. Hitting is just where I've been hit or miss, literally. Hit or miss. So
it's funny you say that. It's hard to interrupt you. It's funny you say that. Your hitting stats have always been really good.
Well, I just mean like in my head, I'm way more confident as a fielder than I am a hitter.
I know you are. Yeah. What was you didn't hit below 300 besides your senior year.
Freshman year.
No. Yeah, you rake.
But my sophomore year, literally the first pitch, so we were a home team, so we were on defense first. The first pitch, we're playing Lamar, and there's a lefty slapper, traditional lefty slapper up. She turns around to bunt on the first pitch of the season. And I run to get it.
Starting off with a bunt.
I run to get it, I pick it up. I literally, sometimes my brain just goes, turns black, and I can't see anything, and I just, lose my mind.
You blacked
I
out.
actually think I threw out of the stadium. It goes past the first baseman over her head by 30 feet. And then we had a transfer and that was playing right field. So she was backing up. She picked it up. This girl's rounding second, coming to third, slides into third. So she gets a triple. Well, really an error.
Yeah.
And 2 extra bases. And I remember thinking everybody, it was the first pitch. So nobody had even had time to do anything
Settle
yet.
in.
Nothing had been done.
Yeah.
And there's a goal in third. And
Good
I
start.
literally just remember thinking, I looked, because I just earned the spot. I barely got the spot. And here I am with the runner on third, and I'm looking around at everyone, the whole stadium is silent. What just happened?
Great start. Yeah.
But no, that year was great. I was an All-American that year. So
You
I think
were an
the
All-American.
worse I start, the better I do
Isn't
that
that
year.
funny?
The better I start, the worse I do.
If you're listening, that's a great message right there. It's hey, I started by sailing the ball 60 feet over my first base and
The first pitch,
ended by being an All-American, playing in the College World Series, hitting a bomb at the College World Series, just sick. So that's awesome. I honestly don't remember clearly my first, besides my very first at bat as a freshman, because I struck out against a family friend of mine
that's awkward.
from when I was 10. So I remember that one, but I don't remember clear as day. I just feel I always got off to I actually feel I got off to good starts my sophomore and junior year of college. My junior year of college, I raked the opening weekend. And I was let's freaking go, dude. Because that was fun, because that was the first time I've ever had scouts looking at me. So I don't know, I was just feeling confident, even though I was extremely nervous and afraid to mess up. But I think just the excitement of opening weekend, take it all in, especially if you're a freshman. If you're not a freshman, still take it all in, because that's one thing is when you go into pro ball, there's excitement on opening day, but it's just different. It's weird because I think there's just this underlying understanding in pro ball that everybody there is trying to step on the other
You
guy.
alive?
Yeah, you're out to get everyone, and it sucks because it's the game of baseball is beautiful when it's played as a team, and the brotherhood that you get to feel in high school and college or sisterhood. You're so excited on opening day to finally go to battle with your teammates, your brothers. And I don't know, the opening day in pro ball doesn't give that same vibe. It's just kind of okay, I need to go handle business for myself.
Right.
And so I don't know. I feel from my experience, when baseball is not played for the team or about the team, it's just not as fun. I truly don't remember my opening days in pro ball at all. It's just sad.
Moral of the story is don't play professional baseball.
No, the moral of the story is
Enjoy your
understand the
college
first
years or your high
couple
school years.
minor league sucks. Don't get too close to people. No, I'm just kidding. Make friends, but I'm sure opening day and at the big leagues is sick. I'm sure that's awesome.
Isn't it April 1st most of the time?
Yeah, something like that. But now, if you're going into opening day this weekend, soak it all in, have fun,
Hopefully the weather's nice.
and swing the bat. Like Riley said,
Yeah.
let it eat.
Literally
Don't
the
wait
first
around.
pitch that is even
Honestly,
in the
first pitch,
vicinity.
just first pitch thrown in
First
general.
beach.
What is it? The first beach. Now I'm getting nervous. I'm getting fired up right now. I think I'm just cold right now. I'm
It's very cold in this house.
I got jittery vibes. Anyways, anything else about opening day?
No, have
Go
fun.
get them this year. Yeah.
It's a game. Don't forget it.
Yeah, and do not let opening day or weekend dictate the rest of your season. It's like Riley said, you can sail one over the first baseman.
Way over the first baseman.
Make an error to start the
Not
season.
even close.
In the season All-American. So
Yeah.
you're going to be fine.
All of our listeners are like parents.
Yeah, they're well,
They're we'll never have it open.
well, one more thing we can touch on that. If you're a parent of a child going into opening day, especially at the high school level,
Yeah.
be supportive, even if they just rode Pine for the first 3 games
What
of
does
the
that
season.
look like?
honestly, it looks like not talking bad about his teammates or her teammates and using the comparison game.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's huge. I think that's something that I see a lot of, just like, you're mad your kid didn't start. It's the start of the season. You're really hoping that this season would be different.
Yeah.
And then little Johnny doesn't play. And so you quickly start to go and talk about the kid who's in the position that he should be in.
Yeah.
And comparing and say, well, so-and-so didn't play great today. You would have done better. And it's like, no, just, hey, let your kids stay in their own lane and go win a spot regardless of who's in front of them. And I don't talk bad about other kids. Like that for me always frustrated me. And my parents didn't do that a whole lot, but like I couldn't stand the comparison game. Like if my teammates hit really well off a pitcher and I just had a tough day, it was like, everybody else in the lineup's getting hit. How can you not?
Yeah.
It's like, there's so much more to the story than that. So I think that's...
We could talk about that in a whole...
Yeah, it can be a whole other episode, but I think just...
What does it look like on opening day? Like, what does that support look like? What would you want as a kid?
Just regardless of if I just played the whole game and had a great game, had a bad game, didn't play at all, just be excited for me. Because even if, depending on playing time, like, especially if you're a college level player and it's opening day, that's a big accomplishment, to have especially if you're a freshman, your first opening day, and just kind of like solidify, like, hey, I'm here. I did this. I accomplished a goal. No matter how much playing time you get, parents, be supportive and happy for your kid, because that's a big deal. And this is kind of relates to us right now, like your brother. He's got opening day this Friday. He's a freshman at Dallas Baptist. They're ranked top 10, top 15. They're very good, a lot of depth. And so, that's something that we're going to try to do for him, regardless of how much time he plays this weekend or this season. Who knows? I mean, he could get a ton of at-bats this season. He could end up being a starter. He could end up not playing at all and redshirting. But regardless, we're excited for him, because to go and play at such a prestigious university for baseball, it's a big deal. It's a huge accomplishment. And so he should be proud, and we're proud of him. And I would say that that's how parents should treat their kids on opening day.
Pretty good. And that's it for this episode. If you like what you heard, go ahead and hit the subscribe button.
If you couldn't stand the sound of our dog in the background, we understand. No love lost.
We'll lock her up next time.
Yeah. And we are getting to the point. This is episode 5, I believe. We need ideas. We can definitely come up with more, but I don't know. I want to start getting ideas from our viewers, listeners, and we can talk about it in our next episode of our podcast. That'd be fun. So we are...
Leave a subscribe.
Leave a subs. And we are signing off and going to bed because it is late. As per usual. Jinx.
Double jinx.
No way.
I don't even know what's after that.
You owe me a V8.
That was funny.
Bye.
Again, leaving.